After a hectic past few months, which included traveling abroad to attend fashion shows and other time-consuming activities, BTS's Jin finally had a rare moment that he had been looking forward to. After returning from his latest trip, Jin finally had the chance to spend time with his favorite nephew, Jin's brother's son. This moment was very special for Jin because before, he rarely had any free time to play with his nephew due to his busy life as a global idol. In interviews and interactions with ARMY BTS fans, Jin often spoke warmly about his nephew. For him, family moments are always the most missed, especially after serving as a soldier for 2 years. Since completing his military service, Jin has made it clear that he wants to spend more time with those closest to him, including playing and joking with his little nephew. He jokingly expressed this desire when he said, "When I get out of the military, I will take my nephew to play and introduce myself as a handsome artist." The line has become a running joke among armies, especially when Jin is known as one of the members who is very confident in his good looks. However, behind the joke is Jin's sincere intention to be more involved in his family's life, especially his nieces and nephews, whom he may not see often. Therefore, when the opportunity to play with his nephew finally arrived, Jin looked very enthusiastic and happy. After returning to Korea, Jin visited his brother's house and was warmly welcomed by the family. The most anticipated moment was, of course, when he met his nephew. According to a close family source, when Jin saw his nephew, a big smile immediately graced his face. Jin's young nephew seemed a little surprised to see his uncle, but it didn't take long before he felt comfortable and started playing with Jin. Jin, who has a humorous and affectionate side, immediately engages his nephew in a variety of games, from playing ball to imaginative games that make his nephew laugh out loud. After some time enjoying the moment with his nephew at home, Jin BTS decided to do something more special. The moments with his nephew were precious to Jin, and he wanted to make sure that the time they spent together would be unforgettable. As such, Jin decided to take his nephew to a place that means a lot in his life. The Hybe building, also known as the Big Hit Entertainment Agency, home to BTS. The Hybe building is where Jin and the other members of BTS spend most of their time practicing, preparing for performances, and crafting the works that have brought them to the pinnacle of success. The building is also full of memories for Jin, especially the rehearsal room where he practiced hard with the other members for years. Now, Jin wanted to share this important part of his life with his beloved nephew. Jin decided to take his niece around first, before heading to the practice room. The Hybe building is filled with state-of-the-art facilities and rooms dedicated to its artists. Jin showed his nephew a few areas, such as the recording room, creative studio, and even the room where BTS often have meetings and discussions with their staff. Despite his young age, Jin's nephew seemed amazed by everything he saw. Jin proudly told him a bit of history about how BTS worked hard in this place. After wandering around for a while, Jin finally took his nephew to one of the most important rooms in the building, the BTS practice room. For Jin, this room holds a very deep meaning. This is where he and the boys spend hours every day, practicing dance moves, perfecting choreography, and preparing for stage performances that wow fans around the world. Jin, who has always had a playful and humorous nature, tried to teach his nephew some of the dance moves he often did while training with BTS. Although his nephew was still young and couldn't dance perfectly, Jin was very patient in teaching him. His nephew seemed to really enjoy the time, trying to imitate Jin's dance moves in a cute and adorable way. Not only dancing, Jin also played some games in the practice room. They played chase between large mirrors, played catch with a small ball Jin found in the room, and even tried a few little tricks with the ball that made his nephew laugh out loud. Jin looked like he was having the time of his life, as if he could let go of all the burdens of being an international superstar and return to being a loving and cheerful uncle to his nephew. Jin, who usually appears serious and professional on stage, turns into a relaxed and playful figure when around his nephew. He often even lowers his body so that he can interact more closely with his young nephew. One of the most adorable moments was when Jin introduced himself to his nephew by saying, "Do you know who I am? I'm a handsome artist, uncle." The line made the whole family laugh, including his nephew, who may not have fully understood the meaning of Jin's words, but felt the happiness from his expression and tone of voice. Playing with his niece and nephew seems to be therapeutic for Jin after a long time of being preoccupied with his busy routine as an international celebrity. During the play session, Jin seemed to forget all about his busy schedule and truly enjoyed the moment with his nephew. Jin's nephew, although still young, seemed to really enjoy his time with his uncle, and their smiles and laughter were a sight to behold. Not just playing, Jin also seemed very attentive to his nephew. He was seen fixing his nephew's wrinkled clothes several times due to his active play. When his nephew was tired and wanted to rest, Jin patiently sat beside him, kept him company, and even read him a short story to help him calm down. Jin's gentle gesture to his nephew really shows a side of Jin that may not always be visible to the public. Although he is known for his humor, when he is with his family, Jin shows how much he cares and loves them. For Jin, this moment is especially precious as he hasn't had much time for his nephew. Since joining BTS, Jin's schedule has almost always been busy. Moreover, after his military service, he had to readjust to everyday life outside of the military, including trying to balance his career and personal life. Playing with his nephew is one way for Jin to feel that balance. Jin's nephew, although still young, seemed to really enjoy his time with his uncle. Whenever Jin invites him to play, his nephew's giggles are always heard, indicating how happy he is to be playing with his world-famous uncle. Jin is always ready with new game ideas to keep his nephew laughing and entertained. With a big smile and laughter on his face, Jin BTS enjoyed every second of playing with his nephew. And for ARMY and Jin's family, this moment is proof that despite his worldwide popularity, Jin is still a humble, loving man who always puts his loved ones first. As they walked out of the Hybe building, some of the staff they passed smiled and greeted Jin kindly, giving a warm look to the person who always brings joy wherever he goes.